So what's up, everybody? I'm Chris 420 Blaze It, and today we have Luke. He's actually with LMC High Design, and he actually makes some like really dope documentaries. Like he's like the seed genetics, not necessarily seeds, but like just genetics, the history behind it, and like different companies and the come ups and come downs of like different people that brought different strains to the U.S. I don't know, like you're almost like the YouTuber, like strain hunter. I might have that wrong, but like I don't know you. But you can go ahead and introduce yourself if you want.
Yeah, no, yeah. My name is Luke, LUC. My initials are LMC. It also stands for like Let's Make Creations. But yeah, so I do cannabis documentaries. I'm a storyteller, documentarian, and my main goal is to help preserve and expand the culture of this plant. And I think
Nice.
really just telling the stories of everyone's, so like I'm actually funny enough, like I actually am doing a whole side project with genetics and stuff. So that's actually I'll be talking about that pretty soon here. But
Yeah,
uh,
for sure. I'd love to hear that, dude.
yeah, but I like to focus on people though. Really people like entrepreneur. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur myself, and so I thought the best way was like, hey, I trapped my whole life, and then I kind of lost everything, and so I didn't really have any capital to like leverage. I didn't have anything besides my time, and so I decided to do like what's the most. I'm a long term thinker, so I was like, what am I going to like leverage? Media. Let me go into media, and so I started just kind of doing a bunch of different media, and I kind of realized that storytelling is really the basis of everything. And I think I think the general public, it's important for them to know the stories so that they can understand the nuances of the whole industry.
No, I agree, dude. I mean, with the story, it like puts the viewer in your shoes, or at least like the shoes of what you're explaining. So like, it's almost like they're living that life, I guess you could say. Like, so like that's really cool. Like I've always wanted to do content like yours, but I just like never had the patience. So I'm just out here making like, did you know that blah blah blah? I'm like just like fucking ridiculous with it, like a
No,
fucking parody.
it's good content, dude. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. Like it's I like looked over. That's why I hit you up, dude. It's in you may like think that it's not. No, dude. It's I like your content a lot, dude. I think it's really solid. It shows with the numbers too. Um, and I think it's just everyone has their own style, and I think that everyone just fate kind of brings you into it, dude. I'm someone that was like diagnosed with ADD. I'm like really not that good at technical. Like I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at like excelling in something once I learn, but I'm kind of a
Right.
slow learner. Um, and I really just just out of kind of necessity almost, because dude, I kind of put in my mind where it's like this is like I have to be successful in this, and so I have to adapt
Yeah.
and do whatever I can possible. So I'm not gonna lie, it's been interesting. I've seen myself. I never would have ever thought. I used to hate writing essays, doing stuff in writing like long essays in school, but
Yeah. No, dude, I feel that.
kind of what I do now. It's kind of funny because I've been kind of forced to. Um, so
No,
yeah.
I can kind of relate on that part. I mean, when I was in high school, I failed or at least my senior year, I failed every class except I needed to get a D in one class to like graduate or something. So I just hated school. Um, but I mean, if you find work that you enjoy doing, you could like lock in and like it's like you're building something, so it's like dope. And like I appreciate the props for like my channel, by the way. Like I mean, my main purpose is just so people know, like, yo, weed is already technically legal. Like technically, like is it? It's like de facto legal. Is it like officially? Like I guess no, but like technically, could you sell it? Yes. You know what I mean? It's like that's and people either it's like the stages of like denial, anger, fucking acceptance. Like I'm like taking people through all the levels of weed is legal, bro. Just accept it. You know what I'm saying? Like because like all my hater comments, they're like, that's illegal, bro. It's like it's legal, bro. Like cookies, bro, is selling THCA flower. Like he doesn't need to go into the hemp industry because he's already in regulated shit. So why? So the fact that he's going into hemp just says like this shit is legitimate. You know what I mean?
100%, 100%. And I recently got a kind of like I've been talking to Burner a little bit just in regards to some other stories, but I mean the lawyer like trust me, like big lawyers have looked at this dude, and I mean they wouldn't risk putting out. to all 50 states if this wasn't like pretty soundproof, honestly. Um, and it's like, I mean, I have friends that have been doing this, you know, like yourself, like they're people are way ahead of the curve, and you know, it's smart for cookies to do what they're doing because really it's like, hey, this is the future, this is the end, this is what's going to end up, this is what like when it's all said and done, all the regulations are finished in 10 years or whenever it is, this is exactly when, this is like what it's going to end up like. It's going to be a lot of direct to consumer mailing, right? That's going to be a big component to it, right? They're, like, I think especially when it comes to like enthusiasts and stuff, that people are like really, you know, going to be able to like, you know, I think the future is going to, people are going to be like, there's going to be a bunch of small growers, you know, hopefully that's what I wish. There's the thing called the SHIP Act, and it will trigger once legalization passes through, and it allows for anyone that makes less than $3 million a year to directly send to consumers all around the country their, you know, their cannabis.
That's
right?
amazing.
Yeah. So you're probably going to see, hopefully, a very strong kind of craft industry that's, you know, the enthusiast group, the people that really care about, you know, good smoke. They're going to be able to get
where is this SHIP Act like being, is this like in Congress and whatnot? Like, where did you hear about this?
Yeah, so the SHIP Act is, it was proposed in Congress. It was a way to help small businesses, you know, be able to combat the massive big corporations, you know, like the little guy, really. That's kind of what I started my content for, really, is to help the little guy. And that's like, I've always looked at different like business models where, like, for yourself, like you're the little, like, you know, like you're the little guy. I mean, you know, you're obviously like, I think you've been popping
I'm pretty little compared to other people for sure.
Well, no, yeah, but it's really just been like I grew up in an era where, you know, the medical laws in Seattle, where I'm from, you know, very lax, very free market, not a lot of barriers to entry at all. I was 16, 17, and I just got that because I got signed off from like a parent, right? But, you know, once you turn 18, you could get into it. And then you literally were able to have 24 ounces up to you on you at all times legally. You could also buy and sell from stores. So you could buy from growers and then sell it to the stores. You could, you know, you could do whatever. And it was just, I saw that I was lucky enough to catch the very last part of that in Seattle and in Washington before we legalized. And then what happened was really they destroyed all of it. And now all of the new medical markets everywhere, they never have had a market. Like, I call them the old medical, the old West Coast medical markets. They're like the wild, wild West. They're crazy.
Right.
Like, you know, and they're like Oklahoma. But the thing about Oklahoma is that the taxation was still there. The taxation wasn't really in place on the West Coast. Like the last year of the old school medical program in Washington State, they only collected like $11 million in tax revenue, which is like nothing really. I think in Oklahoma they're collecting like 300 million or something ridiculous. I can't remember.
Jeez, right dude.
Yeah, So, but just going back to like what it allows for the little guy to get in, and it's a beautiful thing. And but really, the direct to consumer model, that's really like the future of this all. Everything is being ordered online now. You order your groceries online. You do this. You know, like, this is why media and content is so important. That's why people, you know, are need to anyway. There's that, but
dude, I completely agree. Like, when you say like, oh, like the medical industry from, was Seattle, right? Like the medical industry in Seattle before the regulation came in, it was like the Wild West. Like, anyone could do anything, and it was amazing for small business. Like, you were making money off of that as an 18-year-old, as like someone who's trying to come up and just make a living and just be a human. Like, that's amazing. And then the regulation came and destroyed it. So the thing with people selling weed, THCA flower, as hemp, that's literally the same thing that's happening on a federal level. Literally the same exact thing. Because like you said, you would just buy from the grower, sell it to shops. It's like so simple. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Like, that's already happening right now. Like, I have local smoke shops in my area. I buy papers from them. Like, hey, do you want THCA flower? Like, why aren't you selling this yet? You know, like, the dispensary over there is selling it for 60 an eighth. You can sell it for like 30, 40, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's just a no-brainer. And I'm fearing that in the 2023 Farm Bill in September, they're going to fucking erase all of that progress. That's what everyone's talking about.
So, and yeah, tell me about this. So real quick. So I want to talk about the Farm Bill. I'm curious. I want to pick your brain on the original Farm Bill. You want to do that one first before we go to the 2023 Farm Bill, or?
Yeah. We could talk about the 2018 Farm Bill. That's what you're saying, right?
So I want to ask you this, dude. Like, my whole question is, because like really it's so funny. So Trump, Mitch McConnell being an avid like anti-legalization person, and they're the one that passed this through. And it's under the guise of like, oh, it's gonna be hemp, industrial, all this. My question to you though, and this is like I think the big question, the money question really is like, was this on purpose or was this a complete accident?
Dude, okay, so that's what's crazy. So it's like, did Mitch McConnell and like Trump signing the 2018 Farm Bill, did they know that they were legalizing weed? I don't know. I want to like, they're either like, it's just such a big question for me too. Like I literally want to like have Trump or someone admit it. Like someone just ask them, like, let's go. Like who's gonna go up the ladder and say, yo, bro, did you like do this? Like if so, like props. But like if not, like still props, bro, I guess, because like we're winning from this. Like
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but it, you know what, dude, is I've talked to a lot of people about this actually. I don't. There might have been some real, just bad motherfucker who like knew like some lobbyist or someone that had some sort of benefit from this that may have like somehow realized what was going to happen. I actually don't think though. I think this was a complete accident, dude. I think it honestly like. I think what it, like they intended to do this. They intended to like allow it so people can start growing hemp and like they're not going to be
and
tripping over that.
CBD,
But they
yeah.
just didn't realize the science behind it necessarily and what could be done.
Dude, I mean, if that's the case, then leave
So
it the
funny.
way it is, you know?
Yeah, and it's the most ironic thing ever, dude. In my opinion, it's just like hilarious, bro. It's like Mitch McConnell. I don't. I'm not really. I don't like the left or the right. I'm not very. I think they're both bad. But Mitch McConnell is known for being kind of. He is anti, cannabis, right? One of the most
Right.
anti, cannabis politicians accidentally legalizes cannabis and does it in a way where it honestly it is so it's gonna really I mean it is muddling this whole system up a lot, not in a bad way. I think it's good because it's like the great like equalizer that we didn't know that was coming, because like the little guy has been getting
Yup.
crushed now and everything. They've been Illinois, like all these new markets are getting completely like New York, they're all getting like they're getting controlled tightly. It's very corrupt. I study corruption, like I study it like quite a bit. And it's so funny because just when you think the system is going to be just so unbalanced and like the pendulum is like, here, something out of nowhere, like I said, the farm bill comes in and swings it back and gives the little guy an actual opportunity to make it.
Dude,
So
it's absolutely crazy. And I mean, the farm bill, like you said, like they thought, oh, we're just gonna grow some CBD or some hemp fiber or something. It's like, nope, like fucking. I mean, the altnoids are controversial though, because it's like Delta 8, THCO, HHC. They're all made semi-synthetically, which like I see like why people would not like it. I think
yeah,
when it first came out, I sold it because it had its place. I'm like, oh, this is the first legal THC that we could sell. You know what I mean? And I didn't care that it was made like semi-synthetically, as long as it's being washed properly and you remove the solvents and whatnot. Like a lot of things are made in a lab. All of our food that has natural flavors in it at the store have like synthetic stuff in it. So it's like, to me, it's like, okay, as long as you get it from a good source, like you're fine. All caffeine and energy drinks is made by taking urea and using chemistry to convert it to caffeine. Like it's just this kind of the same thing with CBD, converting it to Delta 8. But now that there's just Delta 9 and THCA being sold as hemp, we could just do that now. It's just even more natural and even more better. It's literally just the real thing. So, yeah, the farm bill, it's because, dude, in Illinois, it's just so bad, like you said. Like the small guy always loses, and it's funny when I tell people that, like on my channel, they just like don't believe it. They're like, "Oh, bro, a license is only 50,000." I'm like, dude,
yeah,
a license is not only 50,000, because you're not
100.
thinking about in Illinois. You need to have like a lease already ready to go. You need to have a property leased before you can even qualify. It's like, why the hell would I get a lease for a property that I don't even know I'm going to be running a business in because I didn't get a license yet?
100%. And I actually have, like I said, I've studied a lot of the regulatory markets, and like Illinois is one. Like I've looked into it quite extensively. I mean, it's been corrupt from the very. So, like for example, if you were to grab that property and all that, and then let's say you were part of the social equity grouping, let's say,
Right.
dude, there's people that still to this day have not been able to open up that have been awarded a license, right? And there's been these big corporate medical shops that have opened up, or these regular shops that have opened, like these opened up, and they have like 2-3 years ahead of everyone, so they get the best real estate. They get to actually like have like a lot of runway to like just make mistakes and, you know, not have to really compete. And I mean, it gets really corrupt. I mean, if you really look into it, dude, there's a firm called JPMG. They're from Canada. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Big. They're like the McKinsey of Canada, right? McKinsey's a big like consulting firm. They work with like all different governments. They do a bunch of
right.
So they hired. So the state hired JPMG to it's called JMPG, I think it's called.
Yeah, whatever they're called.
And they came in. They were hired to be the ones that scored the applications, right?
Right.
Well, they actually got caught. One of the main people that were involved with JPMG, they got caught taking consulting money from big companies. The ones that were scoring, the ones that were going to score. So if you got the highest, if you got the highest score possible, you know, you would be in line, right? You know, first in line, right?
To get a weed license, right?
The scoring of the thing. They literally did. So they got caught for that. I mean, that was like, and like, you know, no one really talks about that because there's not enough people that care about this, dude. And it's like, it's just kind of, it's getting bad, bro. Like in New York, they're kind of doing it out in the open now. It's wild. But Chicago, like, I mean, Illinois is really bad because they've created a system that like a small group of companies get to go ahead of everyone and everyone else is held back because either one, they don't have the money to open up a shop or don't have the land or they don't have this or that, or two, you know, they don't meet, you know, certain requirements. It's pretty crazy, bro. And it's also like, you know, if you look into JB Pritzker and his family, like I don't want to get too
I love
down.
that you know who he is and you've looked into this extensively. Like I'm on the same page right now.
Deeply, bro. JP Pritzker and his family, they all have connections to certain interests within this market. So it's very corrupt, bro. I mean, it's very corrupt. So
Illinois was always corrupt, even back with Al Capone.
Exactly.
Like he paid every lawyer, government, whatever to sell alcohol. Now it's just with weed now, you know?
100%. And the Wrigley family is heavily involved there with, you know, that. Which
Wait. So the people that own the Wrigley Field, the baseball, they're invested in weed in Illinois? Really? That's crazy.
Yeah. It gets spooky, bro. Trust me, it gets real spooky. Actually, if you start to look into these different like things, dude, like what's going on in New York is it freaks me out. It's spooky, bro. Whenever you have like, dude, I was in Sacramento, a couple last year, or like beginning of this year, and I was like, I was doing a kind of a controversial, like it's not a controversial, but it was like it was a story about this small shop that had kind of found the loophole. They got like one of these kind of similar things to like. Not the same loophole, but like a loophole, like, you know, a kind of
where they can still operate and do business without all the fees and whatnot.
They had a delivery business, but they operated a retail store because all they did is they have the person come outside and get the product, and that's a delivery.
Right.
And it was right outside of the Sacramento Kings stadium, and but you look across the street from this shop, and like you start like you really look into like who owns what, like. What's the Speaker of the House right now for the Republic? McCarthy, what's his name?
I couldn't tell you. I don't look into politics too much, other than the main people.
So the guy who's the Speaker of the House right now, who's his name is McCarthy. His last name is something McCarthy. It's McCarthy something. He owns property across the street, and like it's like. When the Clintons it's just crazy stuff, bro. It's just like spooky. It gives me like the EBGBs, bro. It's just like
yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, really, the hemp thing. I mean, I'll take it back to the basics. Is like the hemp law to sell THCA flower online is literally the perfect regulation. It's done. All you need to add on top of that is make it 21 plus age verification to sell to people. Because like right now. You know, there's vendors that technically don't need to age verify. Some states have age requirements, but technically on a federal level in the 2018 Farm Bill, there's no age requirement to buy hemp. But it's just like, just literally make hemp equal to all parts of the cannabis plant, growing or not, period, and then add an age requirement, and then done.
Okay,
If you want to go,
devil's advocate. Can I play devil's advocate though? Because I'm in agreement with you honestly. Because you know, I think yeah.
right?
But what about all the states though that have their own systems that now have their own control? It's the most beautiful thing ever, bro. Because all of their little like schemes they tried to make, it just got flattened by this thing, dude. But let me play the devil's advocate though. Like what are you going to say to someone that paid for a license in California and is like, because there's a lot of people on the legalized markets that hate people like you and other people that are my friends, right? And I get it. I mean, it's like, I mean, I get why they're hating, but it's also like, you're stupid. You should have embraced this yourself. Like, just like Burner is now embracing it and Cookies.
Right. I mean, what do I say to them? If I were to have a real face-to-face conversation with them, I mean, it would be tough to, like be like, oh, damn, you did pay this much. You know what I mean? But I guess it's like kind of fucked up because like right now I'm viewing it as a me versus you. Like if you were like bought a license for like $500K or some shit, it'd be like me versus you because like you're operating in an exclusive market. You know what I mean? And I'm just like the little guy trying to make it that can't get $500K. So it's just like, but at the same time, like I would say to them like, hey bro, well, let's sell this hemp through this system now. And we can compete as businesses. Like, let's see who can provide more value to the market and like screw this 500K stuff. Let's just do open market, not closed market. I mean, it sucks. You invested a lot, but like you can only go up from here. I mean, the market's completely national now. Like, why not just go up?
I mean, it's that's the thing though, dude. Is like there's a lot of people that love to talk about. They're anti-socialism, but then like they're anti-fascism, right? And then the moment that they have to compete in the market, they run to their politician friends, and then it becomes okay. Let's just actually use the government to take out our competition, which is fascism.
Literally,
right? That's literally what fascism is. I mean, that's literally what that. I mean, to a certain degree, it's yeah. And
they're literally just bad at marketing. Like they can't deal with the fact that the product can become commoditized, and then they just, like you said, cut out the competition through the government.
Exactly, but exactly, and it's like, but folks like don't realize is where do you think this is all heading? It's all heading this way, no matter what. It's just how quickly does it get there? It's almost there. Like it's getting close now. It's getting closer and closer. With this and the cat's out the bag, dude. Because I talked to all the big dogs in the industry, bro, and everyone is on the tee. Everyone, all of the big companies. I mean,
really,
there's people that have been doing like they're gonna start to kind of come into like if you don't follow what Cookies is doing, I honestly think you're stupid.
So literally all the big people in the regulated industry, from what you're saying, through your kind of
not all the big ones, but the ones that are smart, the ones that I know, I have people telling me this, THCA Delta 9, like, I don't want to say loophole, but the plausible legality of it.
Right.
I started hearing about this like 2 months ago, like just, from people over in Florida, people in Cali. I mean, dude, everyone in the regulated markets, all of the people that bought, like, they're all holding on for dear life. And so most of them are either just putting a lot of their stuff out the back door because they're getting choked out by regulation, by taxes, by just bad, just because that's the system is designed that way. One, because politicians are greedy, but two, because they want to stomp out competition in general. They want to see consolidation. The big powers that be, like the real money players that are going to come in, they're waiting for consolidation. They don't want to come in with this much of a fractured market.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, we're not even to the crazy part where like real money comes in. There's a lot of money here. Let's be real. But like, I'm talking like they're waiting, bro. They're waiting for big consolidation and lots of control. But the problem with that is that this is a fucking plant that you can grow in your backyard.
Literally.
And that's why home grow is so important too. It's so
dude,
important.
in Illinois, you can only grow 5 plants if you have a medical card. Like, what if I'm not sick and I don't need a medical card? What if I'm healthy and I want to grow plants? Like, you fucking can't. Like
No,
what
Chris,
is that?
you can't grow a plant in your backyard, dude. Absolutely not, bro. That's against the law, dude. You can't grow a weed in the backyard, dude. It's how ridiculous it sounds, dude. It's like you're gonna stop really people trying to grow a naturally occurring, like, bro. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Dude, and like, no, it's still to this day, no one has died from weed. Nobody. But what about alcohol? There's, you know how many fucking bars are in every city? Literally, dude. It just blows my mind. Like, this is such a simple talking point that me and you have had in our minds for like fucking years. And like, just, it's like, it's all gonna come to a certain point. I'm hoping that we can all just do what we need to do freely and run business. Because I don't think the masses are going to allow these big corporations to step in. People are kind of noticing. They're like picking up on it. So like, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do on my channel, and you already do as well. So yeah. So all we can do is just keep pushing. You know what I mean?
Keep the fight going. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, there's another element that comes into play here too. Is big pharma.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, that's what gets spooky there because I was, for example, I was at a bar maybe like 3 weeks ago visiting like I was saying what's up to a homie of mine.
Yeah.
I was and I ended up talking to some meeting some people, and one of them was a nurse, right? And they were asking me like what I was what I do, and I go, I make cannabis documentaries, and they're like, oh, that's dope. Like we actually like, and he was a nurse, right? And my girlfriend's a nurse as well, right? And he was telling me, he was like, oh, like we've actually started to give patients like one or two different types of like cannabis like medication that's been turned into a pharmacological, or whatever the right terminology is for that.
Like a synthesized version of cannabis of some sort.
Exactly. And it's a pill version. And that's
interesting.
The thing. They want so there's a lot of different like power groups that are trying to get their little piece of the pie. And Big Pharma's got a lot of influence over the federal government, right? So, when you hear like people talk about, oh, they're going to reschedule it, not deschedule it. They're going to make it down to like a schedule 2 or 3 or 4. Like that's a worst case scenario, because if they do that, that means that Big Pharma is in control and they're in charge of the show. They're the ones that are driving the main federal legislation.
Yeah, you'll literally need to go to a consultant or a doctor to get your weed.
Exactly. And then they have control of it, and then they re-legalize it, and then they make it a farm. They make it so you have to exactly. So and it gets spooky. Now, if they reschedule it, if they deschedule it, I mean, like alcohol and tobacco they put it in the same group as alcohol and tobacco. That's what they should do. I mean, they're
literally.
I mean, it's definitely, like, I would say for the most part, 100% way more healthier than alcohol or tobacco.
100%, dude. I am like agree with you 100% on that. Yeah. Like it just let's put it into perspective. An alcohol license costs $750 at least where I live. So so you just compare that to cannabis license costs. It's just like, what are we doing here? Literally, what are we doing with these $1 million license costs?
It is ridiculous. It is to a certain degree, unless you got a really big head start and you grew a big you grew a big company like a Cookies or some other ones. Really, dude, I'm not gonna lie, it's actually really not smart, in my opinion, to go and buy one of these licenses to really you're way more likely gonna fail than you're gonna succeed because of how much is stacked up against you. Taxes, regulation, lack of smaller market because you can't go beyond the border. I mean the state lines, right?
Right.
It's really not smart. I mean, if you were like, if you had it, like, let's say I had $1 million and I could spend it anywhere, I would definitely 100% do e-commerce, like what you're doing with that. I would set up some CBD stores around, strategically around different places in the United States, and I would prep it to get ready for that. That's what I would do. I would not go buy one of these $1 million licenses that are going to be worthless in 10 years. They're going to be. They are, dude. It's just like it's kind of all a con, dude. That's the thing about this, bro. It's all kind of like politicians. Like it's like, yeah, it's all like, oh, you want me to make weed legal?
then pay me a lot of money. It's like, okay, well, if I'm going to pay you a lot of money, then you better cut out my competition so I can make good profit. It's like, okay, well, if you're going to make good profit, I got to get some taxes out of it. So it's just like boom, boom, boom. Like everyone's trying to get like stick their hands in the cookie jar. You know what I'm saying?
100%, dude. And we're literally, I think, you know, I dropped out of college. I recently just graduated from college, but I went back and finally finished it up. But I originally
Nice.
was a history major, and then I realized I was like, what the hell am I going to do with a history degree? You know, and but I've studied specifically as like you know, Middle Eastern studies, but really American history as well. And like, I mean, this is probably the most, if not like, if this is on par with the, you know, the boss tweet era, the golden era of you know, of corruption, like the 1920s, 10s. We're probably, I think, even a step above at this point. It's because it's all been legalized now. It's all like legalized bribery. It's all allowed now. So we're in the most
Yeah.
corrupt era of American history and in all time. And this brand, this industry, this market, this industry, this culture that's been around for thousands of years, hundreds, you know, many years, right?
Right.
Now coming to the light, and it's coming to the surface now, and it's, you know, it's busting through, you know, let's say it's coming through the, you know, the dirt, it's buzzing, and it starts to look around in the world, and it's just the most corrupt world ever. And so what's going to happen? These vultures are going to come everywhere, and they're going to try to corrupt it. And so it's really like, that's why it's important for, you know, the individual people like yourself, you know, all of us to really figure out how do we, you can't beat them with money. You got to outsmart them. You got to find your, you know, your way in, your little, you know, there's cracks in the system, right? You know, people that got in earlier, you know, to THCA and to hemp and all, you know, all that stuff, right? They found the crack when it was just barely open. Now it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but you know, that's how you got to succeed with them. And it's also our way to kind of fight back. It's a way to check the corruption that's being, you know, had. Like that's the beauty about California, dude, is that to this day, because they were corrupt about it and they didn't want to give everyone licenses and all this, the illicit market there is still 3 times bigger.
Yeah. Of course. I've heard. I mean, why do you people say all the time in Illinois, oh, I got my stuff from Cali, bro? Well, I mean, there's a reason why. It's because they have, you know, they're moving it all through the illicit market, like you said.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like there's the factors of like the growing infrastructure. There's a lot of production infrastructure over in Cali. Like, there's not a lot in New York or like there's some in Michigan, right? But like that's a key component. Like if there's the certain areas where there was a strong illicit market for many years that had like a lot of growers there are typically a good foundation for telling how well the quality and the flower is going to be initially in the legal market. Like that's why Michigan has some pretty goddamn good, you know.
Oh, dude, Michigan is like the lowest prices in the world, dude.
The prices there blew my mind. I flown out there. I was doing a story out there, and we went to a store, dude. I was shocked about the pricing. The pricing was, it was, I'm trying to remember what it was, like $50 for an ounce of some like fire smalls. Crazy, bro.
No, all the people that comment on my YouTube videos, like, and I'm like, oh, eighths cost $60 at the dispensary, and they're like, no, it doesn't. I pay like $1 eighth in Michigan,
You're from
and I'm like,
Michigan,
well,
huh?
you're from Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you get my point.
No, but that's what it is. That's 100% what it is, bro. It's kind of crazy, dude. It's like, sorry, my bad. I just got to turn this.
No, you're good.
I'm just sweating like a.
But yeah, no, I mean, and then the Oklahoma people are the same way. Like, oh, I can get a pound for 200. It's like, all right, well, let's go. Well, not in my state. So, but the thing is, they're trying, like you said, they're trying to make it Schedule 2. So these high prices literally could become a federal problem, not just a state problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna get complicated, bro. It's gonna be interesting with that. I mean, you know, it's just gonna be It's just gonna be fascinating to see, dude. It's you know, but like for example, though, like let's talk about econ. Like, dude, this is why I think. I mean, we're the era of social media, YouTube, right? Online content creators and you know, sponsorships and converting, you know, new customers onto, you know,
Right.
via content.
Right.
It has to be able to have a digital platform that can be sent anywhere in the country.
Yep.
And the reason why, and so it's been such a big problem for content creators like myself, or other people up until recently, because of the THCA, because of these companies that have a lot of, they've they've made a lot of money, and they're trying to now bring on new customers, and you know, it's allowed for content creators to actually get good sponsorships, right? That actually work though too, that actually convert into customers.
Yeah, it's not just some random dispensary in California that's like, hey, Mr. THC, can you like sponsor us? It's not going to convert into customers, But if, fucking Bay Smokes goes to Mr. THC and says, yo, should I give you 1 gram or double it? And then it's like that shit goes hella viral. And then, Bay Smokes gets all this like traffic and stuff. I know the owner of Bay Smokes. That's why I'm like shouting him out. And I've talked to Mr. THC.
I've talked to him DMs actually. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so it's just
every other industry though, bro. That's every single other industry. And we're just waiting for cannabis to be like that. I mean,
yeah, literally. The e-com is like insane, bro. Like here's the way I got into selling weed online or hemp weed is, well, I first saw all these like little teenagers selling Chinese knickknacks, like drop shipping from Alibaba. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a second, like you have this new psychoactive hemp product. I could like at least do is 50% as good as them, like selling this actual good product, not some cheap shit from China. You know what I mean? So I like kind of took inspiration from those teenager drop shipper like viral videos. That I made $6 million in a year like selling this phone charger, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like if I can make like 10% of that, like I'd be good. You know what I mean? And I like weed. Like I grew up smoking it, so it's just like I understand the product. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What are the big things you think for the future? So can we talk? So I got like 15 more minutes, by the way, and I would like.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I would love to by the way, do this again here soon. But so can we go over the 2023 Farm Bill? I haven't heard anything about that.
So supposedly for the 2023 Farm Bill, they're going to erase your ability to have Delta 8, THCA, any form of THC, or even psychoactive compounds above 0.3% of any kind of those compounds, right? Where right now it's just Delta 9. Now what they will allow is for when you're growing, you could have up to 1% THC total. So, but that doesn't like help. You know what I mean? Like, oh wow, they just raised it to 1% THC, but that's 1% THC of any kind. You know what I mean? And what they're saying is they're going to put a milligram limit on edibles. So you could say, oh, I could have 1% THC in the edibles. No, they get put a milligram limit on it. So you can't like get high off it. You have to go to the dispensary. So that's like kind of what my fear is. And that's why I'm like going crazy on YouTube, like making these like dumb shorts to like get people to realize like, yo, this is legal now. Like get the cat out of the bag, let it run loose and like spread and reproduce. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let this be a secret.
100%. That's a great point you make. I mean, I've talked to a lot of folks that are, similar, just like you. And like, they've told me that like the cat's already out the bag. The toothpaste is already out of the tooth, the funnel or whatever the right terminology.
Yeah.
Like, you said that there's no way, like they can do whatever they want, but this is not going to enforce that. Do you think that's true or not? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah. Sorry, I just you cut out for a second, but no, you're good. Like, but I was just to add on to that,
you think the cat's out the bag though? That's what I'm curious. Like, do you really think they're gonna be able to come in?
I mean, dude, Cookies is like fucking selling THCA now, so it's gotta be out the bag. You know what I mean? Like they are the biggest top dog. Like I'm probably gonna make some content about Cookies. Like, oh, am I hurting my own brand by promoting someone else's brand by like saying Cookies is selling a competing product to mine? Like I don't care. Like just get it out the bag, bro. Like everyone wins by knowing about this. Like, dude, there's these people on like Reddit that are really into this hemp industry and they're all like really nerdy about it and they're like, oh, this fucking asshole is like telling everyone our secret. Like don't let everyone know about this legal weed. It's like, bro, like if you keep it a secret, like a politician's just gonna ban it and then nobody's gonna know that it was legal in the first place and then now everyone loses. So it's just like, oh, keep it a secret while we can. Like, no, I'm trying to be proactive, not reactive.
100%. I think there's a lot of motherfucking people that know about a lot of people that know about it now. Now they might not know about the THCA Delta 9 stuff, but they know about the Delta 8. They know about
Right.
So I mean, it's gonna be interesting, bro. It's gonna be so fascinating to see the next 10 years of just overall weed is gonna be it's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna be very, very competitive. It's gonna be like some crazy stuff's about to happen. I can tell. Like,
Dude, I hope I can like participate, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, bro, absolutely.
I'm doing this is something cool I actually wanted to tell you about. And so I actually you've seen the movie Semi Pro, right?
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, you told. Yeah, please. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, on the phone. Yeah. So I actually brought some advisors on to like consult with me, and one of them owns the copyright to the Flint Tropics like fictional basketball team. So I'm helping them build a brand of THCA and Delta 9, right? And we just worked out like a deal of like the profit or whatever, right? So I'm building the store for them, and now there's gonna be Flint Tropics weed, like literal, like from the movie, but like the basketball team, but like weed, like real weed, and like they have plans to distribute it to like all these smoke shops because they have a lot of distro connections. So that's like
That's
part of like
awesome.
the win-win.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you help companies now kind of get into this and establish their own brands or no?
Yeah, dude. No, 100%. Like, I actually had a coaching course. I was running YouTube ads, like saying, "Hey, you can do this online." And I had a course like for $5,000 where I actually personally like taught people how to start their own Shopify store, like selling THCA and Delta 9. But the problem is, four of them, I got five clients in the span of like a month or two. Like, I was like
Pretty
so
good.
busy with the actual selling of the product that I like
Yeah,
didn't scale up the coaching. Um, but four of the clients that paid, like they just didn't feel comfortable making YouTube videos. So like they just dropped off. But one of the guys, one of the clients is doing really well. I think he's making like 1,000 a month, and he's like has 50,000 views on his YouTube channel. So I'm like, okay, so one guy like at least took the action and got decent results from it, and
yeah.
he's still growing.
What about me? Like, what if I was to like me or some other creators? Would you help them or?
Yeah, no, I would definitely like point you in the right direction for sure. Like, why not? I mean, if someone like really wanted to work with me, like I would charge them 5 grand. I mean, if there's but the main thing is with the people I'm consulting with right now, like they have like a lot of connections, right? So like in terms of like media and marketing, and like I'm still trying to see if they're legit, to be honest, because like they're talking all this big game, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll make you a Shopify store, I'll get you some designs, I'll get you the product. Like, all right, let's see if you can like drive some traffic and get sales, and like because I'm like spending my time to build this for you, so it's kind of like a win-win and low risk for me to participate. But dude,
Yeah,
if you wanted to start your own Shopify store, I could like definitely help you with that, bro. It's like not hard. I
yeah,
built like
yeah.
weed brands in like 2 days.
100%, 100%. I mean, I could introduce you. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'd be curious to know who. Like, I wonder, are they from California? Like these people, your clients, or?
No, they're actually from Texas. So
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Anyway, we'll talk.
right,
But yeah, dude, I feel like they're. Well, yeah, I'll talk to you. I guess I still want to talk to you on this after this, but
sure.
yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting, dude. It's the media is becoming so. Initially, when you come into cannabis media, it kind of sucks. It still kind of sucks. You don't. There's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of like. There's no resources really. You have to like boot and like if you, especially if you're like one of these like these journalists that write for other like unless like other platforms, they don't own their own. Like I'm like the first. Like I don't call myself a journalist, but some people call me a journalist from time to time, right? I don't call
Mm-hmm.
myself one really, but you know, I've started to encourage these journalists like you have to start your own like you content creation is the future of everything, right, dude? You're seeing Mr. Beast, you're seeing like, this
Yup.
is really where you're going to be able to drive sales and mass scale and build brand, right? Um, and it's perfectly fits with, like the THCA, the hemp bill, right? The 2018 hemp bill. It's been a lot of different things, but it's when it comes to like bringing in that era of like in like actually having like creators have a lot of power and actual be able to build their own brands and companies like a Dope Iziola or like other people, right? That wouldn't be possible without this bill. So it's ushering in what was gonna happen already, but it's insane, dude. Yeah.
Dude, I am so happy that Dope as Yola made a brand, dude. It's just like I was literally like, why are these weed tubers not making hemp brands? What is wrong with you? Like, do it now, you know? Like, so the fact that he did it is just like such a W. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm a micro influencer. Like I've done like over $1 million in sales over the past 3 years just as a micro influencer. I've only recently jumped from like 7,000 followers to 80,000 over the course of
Popping
two
off, bro. You're
months.
going crazy on YouTube right now, dude. Congrats,
Yeah.
by the way, bro. You're going, dude. You're doing crazy numbers, bro. You got like hell, like dude. The short form has been going wild for you, bro. I love it, dude.
I
I love
appreciate
it.
it, bro. You know what's crazy is out of like the 45 million views that I've gotten on my YouTube channel, I've only been paid like $1,200. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but that's the thing though is like it seems like short form is really like great for gaining subscribers on YouTube, right?
right.
Gaining views. Like I mean I've gotten paid like for certain video like if I get 500,000 views roughly like I mean you could make anywhere from like 3 to 10 grand,
Right.
you know, off longer format, off the long format videos, right?
Right.
But it's just harder to. So it's a balance of the two. I think you need for like growth and overall bringing in new viewers. I think you need the short form, and then I think for having more like having be able to like convert customers into your products and other stuff. I think long form is like so. It's the 210. One's like discovery, one's kind of like retaining slash building upon, or if that makes sense. I feel like, but
No, no, you're 100% right. I've actually been trying to do more long format. And actually, that's why I wanted to do the podcast with you. I was
yeah,
like
dude,
hitting
yeah.
you up. So I'm
And I
glad that
would
you
love to
reached
help
out
you
to
with that,
me.
dude. I've got plenty of different. I love to help any sort of cannabis creator. Like I've been on the phone with like two different YouTubers today. Like I love I think it like just like your mentality is, dude. It's like the more we get, the more a rising tide floats all boats, right? And it's
Yup.
it's and it's not. Like, I don't look at you as like competition. I look at it as like you're now another building piece to this overall niche that we're trying to build, right?
Dude,
And, and
I
yeah,
completely agree with you. Like you understand it's all just contribute it's all just a win-win. Like if Dope as Yola is selling like hella products, that doesn't hurt me. It just means more people know that you can buy this stuff online and then I get more sales. It doesn't
and
matter.
then it grows everything. It grows like that's kind of going just to digress a little bit back is like that's why I realized like it's an interesting time. We have the ability because this industry has now come. It's been born. The legal industry's been born in the digital era. There's never been a commodity like this that's been born into the digital era like this that's been around forever.
Yeah.
Think about that. So we have the I study hip hop. I study all these different niches that have really had robust digital infrastructure and also story infrastructure, if that makes sense, like context infrastructure.
Mhm.
Like for example, you hear Snoop Dogg on a short, like a YouTube short, and he's talking about. There's that one famous one where he talks about like Nas and how Tupac was like, how he like Tupac was getting in Nas's face and like Nas like, Nas was like, oh, it's okay, brother, all this stuff, and like Tupac thought he punked him, but like Snoop Dogg said no, like there's killers behind Nas, like he let us go, right? Like that's a famous story, right? Like for any of my hip hop heads, they know that. The thing about it is you wouldn't understand that story if you didn't know who Nas was, if you didn't know who Tupac was, if you didn't know who you didn't know who Snoop Dogg was. So you need to have the stories behind these people, these companies. You need the context, right? And so that's why I've
Mm.
always wanted. That's why I started out like if you look at all my initial videos, like it's like Burner and the Cookies Cannabis Empire, Ivan and the Jungle Boys. Like we need to understand who are the people behind these brands, right? Because it's going to help for context. So when we get into more nuanced types of media, where like we're now commenting on like multiple layers of understanding, that the general public has a decently good understanding where they can follow with us, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
no, for sure. You know what? That's I think that's the thing that I'm missing from my long form is the storytelling cuz
It's all about storytelling, bro. I'll help you out with it, bro. I trust me. I will help you out with like I'll help you a lot. Like trust me. But at the end of the day, bro, it's all about storytelling. I realized that like cause I used to do a lot of news content in I just did it in more of an analytical way where it's like you need to have the story and then bring a little analysis so like people can like maybe learn from it, right? But storytelling
right.
is everything. It's all about storytelling. That's what it's the key. It's when in doubt, storytelling, like literally all content, you know?
Okay.
So,
Yeah, for sure. Damn,
yeah.
dude. Well, all right. Well, this has been a good talk, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
bro.
like we can definitely do it again, when you're free, and like maybe we can give the next one a little theme or something.
Yeah.
Or if I'm ever, I'm trying to build my channel, so like if I like go to crazy heights and I can find a connect, like we could do a three-way podcast with some other YouTuber, have a little threesome.
100%. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
100%. Yeah, I love it, bro. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm very hyped that we did this, bro. It's I think the start of a dope relationship, and I think you have a very similar mindset to me, which I appreciate a lot because you know what this is. You know exactly you know what this is going to take. It's a group effort. We gotta, we're all gonna eat, So, hell yeah, bro. Well, here, bro. Let me I got another meeting coming up here, dude.